Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
One of the most important lists in QuickBooks is the chart of accounts. You can open this list by selecting Lists and then the Chart of Accounts command from the menu bar. The chart of accounts lists all of the accounts within your company file. These accounts track all incoming and outgoing money and tell you how much you currently own and owe. When you set up your business in QuickBooks, you get a default list of accounts. Once that has been done, you will probably need to make some changes. You can add, edit, inactivate, delete, and rename accounts in this list. Generally, you can perform any of these tasks by first selecting the account within the chart of accounts that you would like to change if needed. Then click the Account button within the chart of accounts window. From the pop-up menu that appears, you can then select the desired command to perform. Conveniently, in any list that you can open by choosing the Lists command from the menu bar, you can rely on being able to click the button in the lower left corner of the list window to perform the basic list-related tasks. This button is always named the same thing as the list within which it appears. So, for example, you click the Account button within the Chart of Accounts window, and you would click the Item button within the item list. Now, to illustrate, assume that you wanted to add a new savings account into your chart of accounts. So first you would select Lists and then Chart of Accounts from the menu bar, or press Ctrl+A on your keyboard to open that list. Next, click the Account button in the lower left corner of the Chart of Accounts window and choose the New command from the pop-up menu that appears. This opens the Add New Account, Choose Account Type window, where you will begin entering the new account information. You must first select the account type from the account options shown. Technically, a savings account is an asset. However, in QuickBooks, when working with asset accounts that have a cash basis like checking, savings, petty cash, and others, you will want to assign the account as a bank account type to note its cash nature and be able to use it within transaction windows. After selecting the desired account type, click the Continue button to move to the next screen. You will then see the Add New Account window. Note that when you selected the account type on the previous screen and then clicked the Continue button, all it really did was select an account type from the Account Type drop-down shown at the top of the window. Next, you need to enter a name for this account into the Account Name text box. For now, skip the Sub-Account of checkbox and drop-down, as we'll discuss creating sub-accounts momentarily, and we shall assume that the account that we are creating is not a sub-account of any other main account. The account description field is optional, as are the bank account number, routing number, and tax line mapping fields. When you're finished, you can click the Save and Close button to create the new account and close the new account window. Alternately, you may continue creating new accounts without having to close and reopen the new account window by clicking the Save and New button instead. Doing this will create the account and clear the new account window, but leave the window open so that you can continue creating accounts. If you choose to do this, then note that this time you will need to select the account type from the Account Type drop-down at the top of this window to start creating the next new account. Also note that you could click the Cancel button if you want to close the new account window without creating an account. Now, to create an account that had a balance as of the start date of the company file, note that you can click the Enter Opening Balance button that appears within the Edit Account or New Account window. This will open the Enter Opening Balance window, where you can enter the amount as of the start date of your company file into the Statement Ending Balance field. Then select the statement date, which must be before or as of the start date from the statement ending date calendar selector. Then you can click the OK button to save the account's opening balance. Note that the amounts that are entered here are attributed to the opening BAL equity account within your chart of accounts. Also note that for accounts that are created after the company file's start date, you simply create the account and then enter the transactions that show where the new account received its initial funds from. When creating accounts, you will not need to use the opening balance field after entering your beginning account balances when starting your company file. You can also create sub-accounts of accounts that have been created within the chart of accounts. This allows you to attribute transaction amounts to specific sub-accounts of a main account for reporting purposes. For example, if you had an automobile expense account, you could create sub-accounts for gas and maintenance and repairs to easily show the different amounts spent on gas versus repairs and maintenance for company vehicles, along with the total amount spent on automobile expenses within a report. The balance of any account that has sub-accounts is the total of all transactions that are attributed to the main account, including all balances within its sub-accounts. You create a sub-account in the exact same way in which you create any other type of account within the chart of accounts. Just ensure that you have the primary account for which you want the sub-account created first. The only difference when creating a sub-account versus a primary account is that when you are creating the account, you must check the sub-account of checkbox and then select the name of the primary account from the adjacent drop-down. Now also note that sub-accounts must be of the exact same account type as their parent accounts. Now, if you wish to edit the information associated with an account, you need to select the account that you wish to edit within the chart of accounts. Next, click the Account button in the lower left corner of the window, and then choose the Edit Account command from the pop-up menu that appears. Also note, if you like to right-click, you can simply right-click on the account you want to edit within the Chart of Accounts window, and then select the Edit Account command. Next, you'll see the Edit Account window appear, and here you can edit the account information, and then click the Save and Close button to close the window and save your changes. You may have accounts that you never use listed within your chart of accounts. If you have an account that you would like to delete in the chart of accounts, you may do so only if there are no transactions associated with the account. Once there are transactions assigned to an account, you can no longer delete it, as that would compromise your company's financial information. In that case, you would first need to remove any transactions from that account, either by reassigning each transaction in the account to other accounts, or by deleting them entirely if they're incorrect. However, this may not be feasible for your situation. After there are no transactions in account, then you can go ahead and delete it. To delete an empty account that's shown within the chart of accounts, you would first select the account to delete. Then click the Account button in the lower left corner and choose the Delete Account command from the pop-up menu that appears. After selecting the Delete command, you will need to click the OK button in the message box that appears in order to permanently delete the account. If you have an account that you used at one point in the past but no longer actively use, you can inactivate it to hide it since you cannot delete it. When an account is inactivated, it will not appear by default in your Chart of Accounts window. However, the information is retained for reporting purposes in QuickBooks. You can actually make items in almost all of your lists inactive to hide items that you no longer use. In the Chart of Accounts, you can inactivate an account by simply selecting the name of the account, clicking the Account button in the lower left corner of the list window, and then choosing the Make Account Inactive command from the pop-up menu that appears. Also note that inactivating list items will be covered in depth in Lesson 3.8.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.